Right then, this is a walk around video for an absolutely gorgeous looking Honda CR-V. This is a 1.6 EX manual, finished in passion red, which looks absolutely stunning in the car, or on the car rather. This car's had many thousands of pounds worth of extras fitted. As you can see here, you've got those lovely side steps. It's got the exterior pack with the silver trims on the bumpers front and rear, high level rear spoiler, and obviously the metallic paint. Facelift model car, which is in absolutely beautiful condition. I'm in the shade, not to hide anything, quite the opposite actually. Bright sunny days are lovely, but they're hopeless for doing videos. So in the shade, it actually shows anything that's immediately obvious. So that's why we do it. Front of the car, new style front end, looks absolutely fantastic. Sorry, I forgot to mention, it's also got the auto cruise control and lane mitigation. So something else, think of anything else, I'll let you know. Lights, lenses, no cracks, no condensation. Front bumper very clean. Likewise, bonnet of the car is exceptionally clean. Coming down the near side of the vehicle, absolutely mirror smooth in the panels. Beautiful, beautiful condition there. Near side front alloy, the one that takes all of the bashing, and I can't see a mark on there at all. Panels down this side, it's just absolutely gleaming. I did see one tiny little indentation, which I'm going to try and find, because it's the whole point of the videos is to pick up on anything. Rear alloy, I'm just scanning the, there we are. I mean, it is pinprick size, that's my fingernail. It is the most minuscule little dent you'll ever see, but it is there, and I wanted to show it as well. My favourite angle for these CR-Vs, these packs, is definitely from the rear. I just think it's a really handsome looking car. Not overdone, really nicely styled. Around the back, again, all very, very, very clean indeed. Offside of the vehicle, driver's side, again, just wonderfully clean in the panels. Offside rear alloy, absolutely stunning, no marks. And the remaining panel work is wonderfully clean. And finally, offside front alloy, again, completely unmarked. I mean, it really is, it's in extraordinary condition. Just coming to the back of the car now, you can see obviously electric tailgate on these EX models. It's been kept very, very well back here, helped by the load liner that's fitted, which protects the carpets underneath. Coming into the back, wide opening rear doors gives you access to a huge amount of room in the back. Those front seats are set for me, and I'm over 6 foot tall, so not cheating. Leatherwork, which is usually very heavily used in CR-Vs, is in absolutely beautiful condition. Coming to the front, passenger side, I apologise, the sun's on this seat, but the seat looks pretty much as new, in all honesty, so it doesn't really do it justice with the video and the sunlight on it. So finally come to the driver's door card, again in absolutely beautiful condition. Footwell areas lovely and clean, driver's seat itself in wonderful condition. The only one that's going to show any kind of wear, and what there is absolutely minimal. So inside the car now, engine's running through this section so the dash can be seen illuminated. Dashboard looks absolutely as new. Big screen sat nav working perfectly. Pop the car into reverse there. That lovely clear gridded parking camera to complement the front and rear parking sensors. As I say, it's been kept simply beautifully. Come up to the binnacle here. No warning lights, 70,561 miles. I do apologise, it was on 69 when we bought it, but I have actually used the car for a few days. I do like this car, so it has just crept over there. But it's in absolutely fantastic condition. Finally, just to show you, owner's manual pack and lock and wheel nut key, both here and present with the car. Right then, this is a quick road test video, and this is for a Honda CR-V 1.6 EX diesel. This particular car is registered PJ65FNF and mileage at 70,562. The reason we do all of our videos is very simple indeed. We want to ensure that if anyone that's looking at our cars online, they actually get to see all of our cars in operation. And it's the very car advertised, and the reason is very simple. We know to our cost how frustrating it can be to go and see a car which can look, perfectly good in photographs and any descriptions, but but when you get there you find out it's got a fundamental issue that shows up whilst driving the car, so that's why we do it. We also do it on these lovely quiet country roads very close to our premises. This actually forms part of the road test route that we take customers on, so hopefully then it'll be representative of what you'd feel yourself should you be offered a test drive in the car. So coming to the car, as you'll know from the walk around video, it is an extraordinary car, not only in terms of how it looks but in terms of its condition as well, and the drive of the vehicle absolutely matches the condition. It is in beautiful condition. I'm just going to pull over here because I'm going to lose the argument with that chap. He's a lot bigger than me. When you get into some cars, you just feel everything you touch, everything you press, everything you activate, the sense of that's been absolutely cherished, and it just feels, as cliched as it sounds, absolutely is new to drive. It really does. Engine starts instantly, obviously push button start on the EX models, and settles to a smooth, even idle. Temperature gauge running at a third, which is exactly where it's meant to be on a Honda vehicle when they're up to operating temperature. And there are no warning lights on the dashboard at all relating to the engine or any other part of the car. The engines are brilliant diesel engines. Don't think for 1 second, because it's kind of only a 1.6, that it hasn't got the oomph. It certainly does. It's a quick car. It's more powerful than the outgoing 2.2, but better on fuel, so that's the whole point of doing it, and lower on emissions. But you can feel the difference. The throttle response is more instant, more urgent than previously, and it's quiet and smooth in operation as well. They are cam chain driven engines. There are no cam belts on them, so no big service looming on them, which is good news indeed. Engine then feeds through into clutch and gearbox. Clutch in the car, absolutely spot on, smooth in actuation, bite point exactly where it's meant to be. Gearbox, simply brilliant, absolutely brilliant on these CR-Vs. I always say it, and I'd never tire of it, because most transverse engined cars, the gear levers here are actually joined to the gearbox underneath by cables, which is better for vibration and that kind of stuff. But it also means that some of the gearboxes I've driven on its competitors' cars can feel either utterly lifeless in operation, and it's just a case of engaging a gear, or worse still, kind of vague and loose in its connections. This feels as though the gear lever goes straight into a gearbox, which it doesn't, of course, but it feels like it. Honda put a lot of effort into making these primary controls feel good, and they do a wonderful job on it. And that feels absolutely as new. There's just simply no play in it at all. All the gears engaging exactly as they should. Steering of the car, obviously power steering, very light, easy to use. However, it is lovely and solid feeling on the road. Almost heavy feeling, but I love it. So often you get in a car with power steering and it just feels too light at speed, and it makes the car feel kind of jittery. This makes the car feel really solid and secure on the road. It's a really well judged system. It also tracks absolutely dead straight. There's no vibrations at this speed or any speed up to the legal limit, and it works beautifully with the chassis going through corners like that. Honda hit the sweet spot with this car. The CR-V is the best-selling SUV in the world, and it's easy to see why, because you've got to strike a balance between obviously comfort for passengers, but also its ability to get through corners without sort of lolloping about. And it does a brilliant job of it. It rides very comfortably, beautifully judged, lovely, beautifully damped ride. But what it does when you go through the corners, it flows through the corners really nicely with a sort of a minimum of body roll, unless you're really pushing on. And that's where I have to sort of pick up on some of these sort of motoring press, which it applies to all cars, not just Hondas, by the way, so don't think I'll just begrudge the fact that they're having a go at Honda. When they road test some of these cars, they can say they're possibly a little bit dull to drive, they're not particularly sporty, or they're not or it rolls when you try and slide it through the corners with a four-wheel drift. Well, good for you. The design criteria for this car is to haul people about in the car in comfort, particularly rear seat passengers who may have their heads hopefully in book, but much more likely in a phone these days, where they might not be concentrating, so lolloping about or rigid, hard rides would be incredibly unpleasant. So for 99.9% of drivers, it's the perfect setup. For 1% who want to drive like a hooligan, it isn't, quite obviously. I'm also listening out for any kind of noises coming from underneath the vehicle that shouldn't be there on test drive, and there's nothing at all. Absolutely spot on in that respect. Just going to give the brakes a bit of a shove when I get around the corner, make sure no one's directly behind me. So bear with me 1 second. It's hard enough to get the hazard lights on, which is always a good sign. Brakes are perfect. Lovely, powerful, instant bite. No pulsing, no vibrations coming back through the brake pedals, all absolutely spot on. Worth pointing out, all these mechanical things will be checked later today because it'll be going off for an independent MOT, so it's going to be checked. Coming inside the car, the first thing you notice getting in pretty much any Honda of this vintage is the build quality. They are beautifully assembled cars. No squeaks, no rattles, very, very well made vehicle. It's a lovely place to sit, really good visibility all around. You've got these huge wing mirrors that give you a real sense of security on the road for lane changes, that kind of thing. This car benefits from a lovely option of having this lane departure system, so if you were to drift across lanes, if it's activated, it'll beep and sort of warn you. Also got this radar cruise control, which is absolutely fantastic. Normal cruise control, basically you just set the speed you want to drive at, say 50 miles an hour on a bit of open road, and it'll maintain that speed. However, if you catch up with traffic, you've got to either hit the brakes, which deactivates it, or press the button on the steering wheel to speed yourself up and slow yourself down, which can be frustrating if traffic is, this is pretty much always the case, very busy. This basically uses a radar built into the Honda badge on the front, and it's genius in the way it works. You just set your speed. If it starts to catch up with traffic, you just feel it slowly slowing you down and then speeding you up again. And you can change the distance to the cars in front with a little button on the side here. So on the motorway you might want a bigger gap or a smaller gap, depending on how you feel when you're driving. Works brilliantly. I've used it for many, many years, and I think it's a wonderful system, and lovely to see it as an option on this car. It's in stunning condition, as we know from the walk-around video in here. Everything working, big screen sat-nav, dual zone climate control system, pumps out absolutely ice cold air. Quality of actuation of all the buttons, everything you press is that wonderful quality of actuation that Honda give you, kind of a slightly rubbery click action, which I absolutely love. Dash in front is simple, easy, legible, very easy to take all the information in, and it imparts no more than you actually need, which again I really like. Steering wheel feels great in hand. It's small in diameter, leather bound, and just feels okay. It just feels the perfect size for the car, because again, some SUVs have sort of truck-like steering wheels. They're unwieldy to drive. This is just perfect, absolutely perfect, and it looks and feels pretty much as new to hold as well. Finally, this is a four-wheel drive version of the CR-V. There are no buttons to press. It does it all for you. Again, Honda worked out that most we were driving as I am today in perfectly good conditions where you don't need four-wheel drive. Obviously, if you've got that, if you're running permanent four-wheel drive, you're going to get through your tyres more quickly, use more fuel, and put a lot more mechanical stress through the car. Should you front wheel start to lose grip on this car, mud, snow, ice, whatever happens to be, it instantly brings in the rear wheels to give you four-wheel drive very seamlessly. And I've towed many a caravan across many a muddy field and never come close to getting stuck with it. As I said at the start of the video, brief as it might be, it's just to show the car in operation, feedback on any issues, of which there are none at all. It drives absolutely beautifully, and someone's going to be very, very lucky indeed to get this car. Any questions? Don't hesitate, do give us a call.